Now, your hosts, Vicki Hyman and Erin Medley.
Hello and welcome to Remote Possibilities. I'm Erin Medley alongside Vicki Hyman. Vicki.
Hello.
We have a special guest in studio today, Carla Astudillo, who is our resident Gilmore Girls expert, I would say, in the office, right?
I think I'm our resident Gilmore Girls expert. She's my co-expert.
But no.
What?
No. I think Carla's the super fan.
Well, she does make weird Pop-Tarts, make weird virtual Pop-Tarts.
Yeah,
about Gilmore Girls.
My day job is a data journalist and data graphics person, and I made graphics of Pop-Tarts at the different Gilmore Girls episodes as Pop-Tarts. So I was also unemployed at the time when I did that. So
good excuse.
Yeah, that gives you more time. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Remote Podcast, at E_meds, at Vicki High, VICKIHY. And Carla, what's your Twitter handle?
At Carla Astudillo.
Astudillo?
Because
Astudillo?
Well, I couldn't fit in the Astudillo.
Okay.
So.
Too long.
All
right, let's get into some TV news. Lin-Manuel Miranda, who, by the way, is everywhere and does everything and has more jobs than anyone else, is teaming up with Pat Rothfuss, the author of the King Killer Chronicles book trilogy. I don't even know I've never heard of this.
I didn't hear of it either.
Where he will serve as creative producer of feature film and TV series adaptations of the fantasy franchise. Sure.
Yeah. Are
Sounds
you familiar with that,
good.
Carla?
I have no clue what any of that meant.
I was surprised that it seemed kind of obscure to me.
Yeah. Kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
And
but
also,
I guess so did Alexander Hamilton at one point. Maybe.
Yeah, you're right. That Lin-Manuel needs a vacation.
Yes, he does.
In other news, Derek Hough and Neo have joined the, NBC's new dance competition series, World of Dance, as judges.
So that means that we'll no longer see him on Dancing with the Stars?
Maybe.
Because, I mean,
unclear.
We all know that this was my first season of Dancing with the Stars, and I kind of fell in love with all his faces. They all make the best faces.
While they're dancing.
I love it.
All right. Well, the show World of Dance is from Jennifer Lopez, and she will be on as well, and it's a 10-episode series. I'll watch it. The grand prize is $1 million.
Is it amateurs?
Yes.
So You Think You Can Dance?
I think so.
Which I've always enjoyed.
Me too. Look, So You Think You Can Dance was much better, in my opinion, than American Idol in its later years. I
absolutely agree.
Because you have to have, you can't fake dancing.
You cannot, slide in to the finals of So You Think You Can Dance. You have to know how to dance.
You really have to know how to dance.
It can't just be charisma.
No, charisma does not cut it. And here's my least favorite news item from today.
Okay.
Darren Criss is going to give viewers a behind-the-scenes look at all things Hairspray Live during the 3-hour production, which is airing next Wednesday at 8 p.m. on NBC.
Is your problem with the backstage or Darren Criss?
My problem was with the backstage.
How could your problem be with Darren Criss?
Because I think we both agree that last year's Grease Live, or
it
that
was in January.
Okay, that January's Grease Live production was really good. What was the worst part about that entire thing? It was the Mario Lopez.
Yes.
Interloping. What is he doing? Mm-hmm. I don't need commentary. It's unnecessary. Also, I will say, NBC, you are totally biting off Fox. They did it first. Mm-hmm. So why are you now doing it?
Just a little preview. Are you excited about this one? Because what I've seen of it.
Oh, you're not? No.
Yeah, I mean they did it on the Dancing with the Stars finale. I think a little snippet of one of the songs, and I was like,
not so great.
Yeah, wasn't so great.
Queen Latifah's in it, right?
Yeah,
and
they have a good cast.
Jennifer Hudson,
and Derek Hough,
Derek Hough, and Harvey Fierstein. Mm-hmm. I mean,
I don't know. It wasn't. I wasn't feeling it the way I was feeling Grease or The Wiz. There's only one thing, but
that's true. Well, look, it can't be any worse than the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It cannot.
Right?
It cannot possibly.
No, because that was
be more
terrible.
Boring, but it can't be worse.
Can it be more boring?
Oh, I don't think Rocky Horror Picture Show's problem was that it was boring. It was just that it was terrible.
It was just not good. Carla, are you into musicals at all?
I actually have a theater degree in costume design, but I feel very behind.
Random. There you go.
I feel very behind because I think I haven't seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
You don't need to.
I mean, I've heard bad things. I don't know. I'm not into putting on musicals on TV. I'm a little bit of a
You should
purist.
check out Grease. It was good.
It
was great.
But do you think Grease loses a bit of its luster because if you go back to rewatch it, it's not live, like while you're watching it? Isn't that part of the excitement, is that it's live in that moment?
It is, but I think like if you go to it knowing that it was filmed live, taped live, you still, I think, get the same sort of frisson about it.
I guess,
great.
except you know that nothing crazy happened.
That's fine. I don't go in it thinking that somebody's going to like lose it on there, but I just do. I mean, it was such what. We shouldn't get into Grease because it was like almost a year ago, but just the way they staged it was so open and using a lot of different sets and going from one to the other. It was so creative, and they really pulled it off.
All right, well, that's fine. We'll see how Hairspray Live does. We will be watching that for sure. Let's talk about something that happened last week that was highly anticipated by a lot of people, myself not included.
But myself very included.
And Carla as well. And that would be the Gilmore Girls revival, which debuted on Netflix on Thanksgiving Day, right?
Day after.
Day after?
Yeah.
Okay, on Black Friday,
Yes.
as I like to call it.
That's where I was.
And it was 4 movies, each 90 minutes. And they were based on seasons or like...
Well, it was a year in the life.
Year in the
I mean,
life,
I don't...
right.
With the seasons kind of didn't make very much sense.
Yeah, it was only just to show the passage of time, really.
got
It didn't really have, like... One of the things is I thought, like, there would be a fall in the fall, but they didn't do that, so I'm not really sure exactly.
So, Carla, were you a fan of the series when it was on originally?
Yes, I started watching it first episode, back when I was in middle school. I am 3 years younger than Rory Gilmore, so I was very much that target WB sweet tween demographic that they were all aiming for. I was very much growing up watching it, being, wow, Rory Gilmore is my hero because she's so cool, goes to high school, she's
Carla,
bookish.
when did you realize that Rory Gilmore was in fact awful?
When I rewatched it again on Netflix
as
an adult, because that's one of the like really good things that I like about Gilmore Girls is that you, depending on when you watch it, you get different things from it. I thought like Lorelai was, the great mother, like she's so cool, and Rory, was bookish, but she also got all the boys. And then now rewatching it, I'm like, Rory is actually a little bit entitled and awful,
Very
and
entitled.
Lorelai is not the best mother. And I very much related a lot to Emily Gilmore's trying to reach out to her daughter. So it really, like, when you watch it when you were younger, and then when you watch it when you're older, you just have a different experience. And so rewatching it on Netflix, I completely felt different about many scenes in the beginning. I realized just what a little twerp Jess was. And when I was younger, I was very much like
Team Jess.
Team Jess.
Really?
Wait, tell me what actor plays Jess?
Jared Padalecki plays Dean, who was her first love.
Got it.
Milo Ventimiglia plays Jess, who is her second love. And Matt, whose last name I cannot pronounce,
Zucri, yeah,
plays Logan, who has certainly by far the most screen time in this revival.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, he doesn't have a job, so there's
no, he has a job. He also has a girlfriend who becomes...
No, he doesn't have a job in real life.
Oh, in real life. I'm sorry. I'm like...
because,
he's a
because
playboy.
Matt Zucri was on The Good Wife.
He's a playboy. He's from a very, very wealthy family. I'm just saying,
I see.
So
I see.
He does have a job here, and he is playing into his family's dynastic whatever impulses. And well, I don't know if we want to get right now into my main problems with the show.
Well, first, so let's be clear. I've never watched Gilmore Girls, or I watched the first episode a few months ago, and I thought it was terrible, so I stopped.
First episode was wonderful.
No, it wasn't.
It was magical.
No, disagree. So that's where I am. So I have nothing to contribute to this conversation, but I will ask you guys questions. tell me the things you liked about it first before we get into the negatives.
I think we both agree on that. The Emily storyline was incredibly strong. And I'm wondering whether that's because Emily is the one who, when they come back to the revival, something actually happens to, and there's an opportunity for her to evolve and develop. Of course, we know Edward Herrmann, who played her husband on the show, died in 2014, and the show opens in a couple of months after the character had died. And so Emily spends the year sort of like, after being married to somebody for 50 years, being the society wife, she ends up becoming her own woman finally. And I felt that very gratifying, and it was very Emily, the way she did it, and I really enjoyed that. Whereas Lorelai and Lorelai certainly didn't really have much going on at all. She's been with Luke for 9 years on the show, and sort of suddenly she has some issues about like where her life is going. I don't know if it's a midlife crisis. Didn't seem to be brought on by anything other than the fact that, we have a revival going on, something has to happen with Lorelai. And of course Rory basically has the same exact issues as she had when she was 20 years old, which I hated her for.
I feel like, that was definitely probably because the creators were definitely planning on doing this for season 7 and doing giving Rory those problems when she was in the early 20s, because yes, those problems are very, very sad when you're 32. Sleeping with your ex-boyfriend from college.
While you are dating somebody who you can't even remember, and while he is with somebody and then engaged to her.
I feel like the problem why Lorelai and Rory were so in amber and so static for 10 years had probably had to do with the fact that the creators had planned this for them 10 years ago, whereas I don't think they were. I hope they weren't planning Edward Herrmann's death or or Richard.
It is 10 years later, and so change it up a little bit.
I feel like it could have definitely, there could have maybe been a little bit more backstory. Maybe Rory had worked at someplace else, a smaller outlet, and then she felt that she was growing too big, so she tried to do freelance, and then it didn't work out. Something that should, because it's one thing to just fall in a slump. Like, we've all had it. We're all journalists. We've all had this didn't work out. Like, I got laid off because of the business. But it just didn't seem like Rory was doing anything at all.
But that actually speaks very much to Rory's annoying character.
Yeah.
In that, from the original show, when she's like such a go-getter, and then Mitchum Huntsberger says, "You don't got it, kid," and that's it. She's going to drop out of Yale and move into her parents' pool house, and that's it. So she has, she's supposed, it's like just a character flaw. It's always bugged me, and I don't find very believable. She's such a go-getter, but like one little tiny slip, and that's it. And it was the same sort of thing here. I
actually found that very believable, because the way that and this is from the original series, the way that everybody dotes on her. Rory, Gilmore, Rory and Lorelai.
She's the second coming.
Are the queens of the towns. When she leaves in the 7th season to cover the Obama campaign. Which, by the way, why didn't they mention that? Like, did she do such a bad job covering Obama that she couldn't find a job freelancing afterward? Well, anyway,
she had a Talk of the Town piece, and of course, it was the most famous Talk of the Town piece that's ever been a Talk of the Town piece ever, because it's all people can talk about is Talk of the Town piece. Sorry, I am very bitter.
Geez,
I could understand it with Luke and Lorelai and all the stars call it because they worship her. But yeah, when the GQ guy,
editor's like, "Oh, such a great piece,"
I'm like, they wouldn't. Yeah, they wouldn't.
These are a couple of bitter journalists talking.
I was going to say, this is the problem, is that you guys are too close to the subject.
We are a little too close to subject matter. Okay.
So what did you dislike? Because I'm still not hearing things you like. So just tell me what else you dislike.
Okay, so they come back after 9 years. They have Netflix gives them 4 90-minute episodes, and they use it to indulge all of their worst impulses from the show. Okay, so the show, Stars Hollow, is this mecca of whimsy, and there are cute, adorable things happening all the time. And in every single 90-minute episode, they just expanded it so long. So the one really, really bad one is that they did Stars Hollow the musical, where they got Sutton Foster, and I can't remember the other actor's name, but he's very famous Broadway star, Christian Borle.
Yeah.
Who put on acted in Taylor Dozy's version of Stars Hollow the musical, which felt like it lasted for like 90 minutes itself. Mm-hmm. I was actually fast forwarding it for a moment.
So those two characters were not on the series.
No,
before.
but Sutton Foster, of course, has her was in Bunheads.
Bunheads, right?
So there was a lot of like, if you keep up with the actors and what they've done, there are a couple of actors.
Was an Amy Sherman Palladino show.
Yes, it was an Amy Sherman Palladino show.
Got it. Okay,
lasted I think one season.
Yes.
They had a couple of actors from Parenthood who came on, Jason Ritter and Peter Krause. Peter Krause, who of course is dating Lauren Graham.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, too much whimsy that just grated on me. I mean, little doses, that's fine. I enjoyed the the way Kirk had decorated Stars Hollow at the end. It was very pretty. Didn't last too long, but that was terrible. And of course, it was making Rory the second coming and continuing with that was super annoying to me.
Yeah, I feel... I definitely agree that the musical went too long, and then the other big one was the return of the
Life and Death Brigade. I've always hated them.
Yeah,
always. I mean, of course, I'm not on Team Logan.
Yeah,
so I'm certainly not on Team Logan's friends, who are incredibly annoying.
Yeah. That was definitely the worst part. But the thing is that I thought like some of the good moments really, just for me, they kind of made the bad moments seem okay. Like, for example, in the musical, yes, I thought the musical went on for way too long, but I really liked the part afterward when everybody was giving their notes, and it was just hilarious how all the townies, were saying like, oh, like Babette was pretty much Jean Shalit, was move over, Simba, a new musical is coming to town, and also the new townie that was like, wait, you want them to be less perfect than they already are? Just things like that, like little things like that. The film by Kirk, I also liked that whole, when they were all just, the town was...
Felt it was a little too long.
But I actually enjoyed that. And like, one of the things about this revival is that there were bad moments and weird plot issues and things that just led to good moments. Like the whole Lorelai didn't know what to say about her dad during the funeral. I thought that was really weird, but then it led to that great fight between her and Emily. So I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of weird. But if it got me a good moment like that, I'm okay with it.
Well, I would be okay with it too if it made any sense for her to have that breakthrough. And the whole wild escapade didn't really make much sense to me. The fact that Lorelai was having this, I mean, yes, a death of your parent can cause you to do some pretty crazy things, but there had been no evidence that it had been bugging her in that way at all. And then she's seeing this beautiful vista, and she decides to call her mother, and they do have a lovely moment. It just didn't make much sense to me. I'm like, where is this coming from? Why couldn't she have said this before? I didn't get it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Gilmore Girls has never been a plot friend, like the plot has never really made much sense, especially now. Like, if you follow the plot of these revival episodes, it makes no sense.
I mean,
whatsoever.
timing-wise, it's completely screwed up.
Yeah, and then like Rory's in London, and then she's back at Stars. It made no sense whatsoever. But I've never really, like, the way I watched Gilmore Girls is not really for the plot or for continuity things. It's for these moments that I'm talking about. These like, so like I kind of wish, like, instead of a big Netflix sort of movies plot scenario, it could have been just like
episodes,
moments.
Right?
Yeah, like,
well, in 42 minutes, when you have a beginning, middle, end of an episode, you don't have time to do these, like, these lengthy asides. Everything. Ugh.
Well, do you think that you guys would have liked it better if they'd rolled these movies out one at a time?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think I still would have hated them all.
The issue is length, not really just getting it like one bit at a time. Mm-hmm. Like, I would have just been fine if like some of I think it's more of just everything together. It was like a big gumbo, and everything together, like, it tasted bad. But if you take like one bit of the gumbo out and taste it individually, it's good.
Right.
I don't know if that one piece of shrimp is delicious, but all together, ugh.
Yeah. So, which is very Gilmore Girls has always been super messy that way.
I don't necessarily agree. I think that I think the episodic shows, except for, of course, the last season, I think they made more sense, and they were just edited better, and it was better as an episodic 42-minute show than these 90-minute like horrible things. I wanted to ask you a question because you watched Full House and you watched Fuller House.
I watched some of Fuller House.
Yeah. And I thought it was sort of interesting what they did. Like, if you have a lot of love for Full House, you're probably going to have a lot of love for Fuller House. And I was thinking, well, you might have a lot of love because it's basically the same thing. Here, I was wondering if it was exactly the same thing. Like, I was talking to a friend who hadn't watched Gilmore Girls, but was thinking about watching it. So I'm like, oh, do not, because you are going to hate it. Right. I don't think there's any way you could come to Gilmore Girls and come from just the revival and come away thinking, like, you would never even last past maybe, like, the second season.
It's for fans.
Yeah. It's because every little interaction, even the funny ones, have a lot of history in it. Every little thing that Emily and Lorelai say to each other, there's a lot of history there. Like, all of Rory's horrible decisions, history there. So it's just more palpable than people watching it for the first time, you know? And they're probably way more forgiving about really, really stupid stuff, like them making fun of the people at the pool, which was
that also
completely mean-spirited. And if I had just watched that without watching the show before, I'd be like, these girls are awful and I'm not gonna watch anymore. But because I'd been watching these girls for a long time, I was a little bit, okay, I'm gonna get through this, and hopefully this is one of those bad moments that leads to a good moment. So
would you like to see a second season?
With those final 4 words, no. And because the thing is even though those final 4 words kind of ended in a cliffhanger, it was very much a cliffhanger that it says that everything is happening all over, so why would we need to watch this? Because she is pregnant with Logan's
Spoiler
baby.
Alert! No, it's okay.
Fine.
I mean, if you've been listening to this for the last 18 minutes, I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, sorry. So she's pregnant with Logan's baby, and Logan is very much kind of a little bit of a Christopher, and Jess is kind of her Luke. So it's kind of implied that this is all going to happen.
I felt it was very
again.
implied.
Yeah.
And especially the discussion she had with Christopher.
Yeah.
Like, in retrospect, you're like, okay, she's deciding she can do this on her own. She can't depend on Logan.
Yeah, and that scene was another scene. When I first saw it, I thought it was weird. And then after the final 4 words, I went back to watched it, and wow, this is like, she's not talking about the book now. Mm-hmm. She's talking about the baby that she's going to have and raise, which I thought that was another really good moment. But I don't need to see much more. I'm pretty, I don't know if I want to see it.
I know, but the other weird thing is that they left like so many sort of dangling things. Last thing. I mean, like the letter that someone wrote to Emily that she thought was from Lorelai, Doyle and Paris's marriage. It was like very messy in that sense, and things were just dropped completely. And then there were characters who were there who were only there to be props, like Lane. Like, I like Lane, and she was just in the background the entire time reacting to Rory.
That was my biggest disappointment with the revival, is that they didn't have a storyline for Lane. I feel like they kind of brushed her aside in the later seasons when, like, she could have had so much potential, because unlike Rory, Lane wasn't the town darling, and she had so many dreams of being a rock and roll artist, and she ends up married and pregnant at a very young age with twins, and there's nothing really wrong with that. It's just that, like, that wasn't Lane's that wasn't what she wanted, and so how would that not weigh on a person? Like, how could that not be explored? You know, what is she like? Is she happy? Is she maybe trying to do rock and roll on the side? Like, how is it like to juggle, having twins and then having maybe a music career or making your own
Stars
way
Hollow.
in Stars Hollow
in Connecticut,
in Connecticut, and that would have been a very 32-year-old appropriate storyline compared to Rory, that's just freelance, like, kind of waffling around being Rory
with your trust fund.
Yeah, with her trust fund. Yeah.
All right, so some mixed opinions here, but I think that as fans, you'd rather have those feelings, those mixed opinions, than not have had this at all, right?
Like, am I sorry they did it? No, right. Because I still enjoyed the moments. I enjoyed seeing many of the characters again, but I thought they could have done a much better job.
Well, maybe next season they will.
Are you listening, Amy?
Yes. All right. Now we're going to talk about a show, Carla. I don't know if you watch. Do you watch Westworld?
Yes, I do, and I haven't seen the latest episode.
Oh,
no, you have to leave them.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you have to get out unless you want to be spoiled because... Oh, well, actually, are we really going to spoil it? Oh, yeah. No,
well, the very end.
Yeah. No. The episode this week was spoiler heavy, but if you've been following along with any of the theories, then you won't be surprised, right? That's what I would say.
Oh, yeah, I think I know where you're going with this.
Do you mind being spoiled?
I guess not.
Okay, good.
Can I also ask a question of Carla?
Yes.
I have talked to a couple of people who do not read a lot of TV websites. They don't go on Reddit. And there are some theories floating around that have been more or less confirmed over the last couple of weeks. One of my friends has no idea about any of the theories. The other one is my husband, who insists that I ruin the show for him by just talking about the theories, which turned out to be true.
Yeah.
Do you know the theories?
I think I know of one.
Mostly the timeline theory.
Yeah, of just the Dolores and William? That's his name?
No, wait, is it? Oh, yeah. He said, "Don't call
Jimmy
me Bill."
Simpson.
Yeah,
Yes.
the blonde guy.
Jimmy Simpson.
That's happening way earlier than the other things that are happening in the show, and it could be done because Dolores is a robot and she doesn't age. So
This is when I got into a little thing with our colleague Enrique, and I was sort of poking at things to see what he's figured out. So who do you think the Man in Black is? Carla?
No, we don't know.
Is that?
I'm asking you. I mean,
yeah, William, right?
Okay, good. Because I've talked to people who have no idea.
Okay, but
it's the same
I would say
person.
after this episode, I'm not sure he's the Man in
Who
Black.
do you think it is?
It could be the other guy.
Could be Logan?
Yeah.
I guess it's possible it could be Logan, but it wouldn't make any sense hair, eyes, color-wise, and sort of maybe even build. Wouldn't really make much sense.
That's true.
And now, of course, Logan has a big scar. And
It's also too obvious because he's bad.
He's already the bad guy.
He's already the bad guy. So it would make sense that William would have his journey to becoming the Man in Black. Anyway, it's something that I found online, and I was like, that could make sense. And then as the show went on, it's oh, this hasn't been disproven yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just really wonder what it's like for a person who really has no idea, like our friend Enrique, what is going, does not realize it's two timelines, and whether they're going to do something.
But not even two times. It could be
it could be
three times.
It could be triple times. It could be quadruple 4 lines. There's a lot, especially
timelines
this last
happening.
episode. There was a lot of stuff going on.
Well, I think you're too far ahead. We have to go because you're glossing over the biggest.
Okay.
Confirmed theory in this episode. So, Carla, again, if you don't want to hear this, or anyone else, spoiler alert, the episode kicks off with Maeve talking to Bernard and saying to Bernard, hello, we are the same. You are a robot. And Bernard's I don't know what you're talking about. And Maeve's
even though we found out the episode before that he was a robot.
Correct.
But he got wiped.
He got wiped, and Maeve is if you're going to go find out what's happening, get the whole story. And then we have Bernard basically taking Clementine and going to Ford and saying, you're going to show me my memories or whatever it is. And or Clementine's going to kill you.
Because I reprogrammed
Because
her.
I've reprogrammed her. Because Bernard still doesn't know that he can't do anything.
Yeah.
And so we come to find out in the flashbacks that, spoiler alert, Bernard is essentially Arnold.
Essentially. He was made in Arnold's
Bernard
image.
is a robot, but he was made in Arnold's image. And then the biggest spoiler alert of them all is that Dolores killed Bernard. Arnold.
Did Dolores kill Arnold, or did she metaphorically kill Arnold? It's
Correct.
a little unclear.
It
Did
is
Ford
unclear.
make her kill Arnold? Who knows?
We
still
don't know. We don't know. But we do know there was some disagreement between Ford and Arnold. We saw that, but we didn't see... In that scene, we also saw that Dolores figured out or knew how to access the underbelly of Westworld because Arnold, see, now I'm going to get them confused because Arnold and her were having secret sessions together, and that's what we've been seeing in those scenes where they're in the glass box. That was in the past.
That looks different from where we've been seeing her otherwise.
Yes.
And that took place
in the past. So that was not Bernard, that was Arnold.
That was actually,
yes.
And actually, it's interesting. I was watching the first episode again, and you see the conversations that I don't think they show you. Somebody's having a conversation with Dolores, asking her about the nature of her, and it sounds like Bernard, but not exactly sounding like Bernard. So I think that's how you're getting that this is actually Arnold speaking to her.
I feel like I need to go back and watch from the beginning.
I think you would really enjoy watching it from the beginning.
Now that I know.
Now that you know what you know. And I think a lot of people who don't know what's going on are going to have to go back and figure it out. Because I don't know if they're going to be, going back to my original point, I wonder if they finally, like, blow everybody's minds, like, okay, it's 2, 3, 4 timelines, if they're going to do, like, what The Sixth Sense did or what The Prestige did, where they show you, oh, this is how we made it work. And they give you little flashbacks so you can really be clear. Because if they don't do that, I think people are just, who don't know what?
Because I will say, even as people who follow the news and we talk about this show all the time, I watched that episode and I was like, what
I know. The last 2 episodes have been like that.
They've been, like, even though there are things that are very clear, okay, Bernard and Arnold, basically the same, you know, there are different timelines, got it, understand all that. But then we find out that the Man in Black, spoiler alert, is a member of the board. Like, I was like, okay, and then what's her name? Like, shows up. What's
Charlotte.
Charlotte shows up in the middle of Westworld. Like, I need you to vote Ford out. And it's just like, what?
Like, don't bother me.
What is happening right now?
That to me wasn't as surprising because we, you know, if he is William, we knew that his family's company or the family's going to marry into. We're going to buy a bigger stake. Blah blah blah. But to me, what really got me, and I watched this again as well, the scene at the end of this episode where you see Dolores going into this, like, weird confessional chamber that's actually an elevator that takes you to the original Westworld design offices.
But remember,
but it keeps changing whether...
Yes, her clothes keep changing from...
what the offices look like, how old Anthony Hopkins is. It's like...
It was very confusing. But it's in the town where we've seen this town a few times now. In the beginning of the series, we saw Ford talking to Bernard overlooking the steeple. Is that
because it was buried in sand?
Because it was buried in sand.
And saying, this is where my new narrative's going to be.
That's the steeple where... before it was buried.
The original town.
That was the original town where we've now
where
seen...
presumably they had this horrible big glitch.
Right.
That may have involved Dolores and or Teddy slaughtering the entire town.
Right, and last week we saw that Dolores, like, shot up the town.
Yeah.
And we also saw that with Teddy, too.
We saw that this week with Teddy being the sheriff.
So it's like, there's so much happening.
I can't imagine any way they're going to wrap every question we have up.
In this last episode.
And I just hope
Do they need to?
I mean, I think they have to give us some sort of unifying theory about how this all worked and maybe let us figure out himself, but some unifying theory that they lay out that makes sense. Otherwise, it'd be like, what?
Well, it is all very confusing, but I wouldn't say that it doesn't make sense. It makes sense. There are just some things that are, you know, a little vague that we still need to connect the dots on, but it's not like later seasons of Lost where everyone was
like
lost.
Later seasons where they brought up very deliberate mysteries like the donkey wheel that you're just like, how did, like, what? You know?
Right.
I don't mean it like that. It's just like, be clear about what is going on here and let us figure it out. But there is a lot of stuff that happened throughout the season that when you watch it again, you're going to be like, okay, what?
Right. Now, we seen Dolores we saw Dolores and the Man in Black again together in this episode, right?
Yes, at the very end where she comes out of the elevator and she sees a figure and she says, dun, 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 William, and it's the Man in Black.
Right. Oh, she said William?
She says, well, because she thinks it's William because she had separated from it at some point.
Right. Mm-hmm. But it's the Man in Black that we have seen.
Yes, it's Ed Harris.
Yes, so that was the
James
confusing part. Yes.
She keeps thinking it's James Woods.
I do. Because that's confusing because we've seen Dolores. So then that would be crossing timelines, no?
Well, that was the thing is, like, she is in the current timeline when she comes back to this church. But then sometimes when you show her going through the church, she's back in like 30 years ago or 35 years ago, probably 35 years ago with the glitching robots.
Right.
But when she comes back out again, she's wearing the pants and the Western
But
gear.
that's not if we're right about the timeline, that's actually not current.
No, I think it is current because she saw the Man in Black, and the Man in Black is current.
No, but when she's wearing that tan outfit, that's when she was with young William.
Well, I think she's wearing the tan outfit 2 times. And one, she has the gaping wound because Logan opened her up and saw the clockwork, and this time she's got no wound.
Right. You're right. Oh my gosh. This show. I mean, I love it. I think it's great. I think HBO has been on a roll this year between this and The Night Of.
The Night Of, certainly. Can I ask you one more question about Westworld? And I can ask you this. I mean, like, it's a great mystery, and I love chewing on these things. Are you feeling like an emotional connection to the story as much as you are just enjoying, like, puzzling it out? Because I'm looking at Game of Thrones, and there's a lot of spoilers and theories in Game of Thrones, but I'm still, like, really connected to Arya and Jaime and even Cersei. And here it's like, I'm kind of rooting for Maeve. You know, I'm just not feeling as much of a connection to this.
My answer is no.
There will be no Pop-Tart chart.
The thing is that this is the reason why I'm like, okay, I'll have this spoiled, because I really, it's more of an intricate puzzle that you need to put together. You know, like you don't, because the thing is we don't know. Like, is Dolores alive? Is like the thing is like we haven't, because all these characters are shrouded in mystery still, and we don't really know them. It's kind of hard to feel something for them because
and also like when you approach them, they're robots, and so you're not like thinking that they're actual humans, but the idea is that they're gaining sentience. You know, Ford's divine spark. We don't know what's going on.
But the other thing is, in this episode, and another spoiler for you, Carla, it was a big one, you should have watched it, is that at the end, after all is revealed about Bernard, Ford tells him basically to shoot himself in the head, which I think is supposed to pull at your emotional heartstrings until you remember he's a robot. It doesn't matter.
You know, they stuck a thing up like Clementine's nose like a couple episodes ago, and then she's fine again.
Right.
Well, somewhat fine.
So it's, and I think, and it's very, I like how they're making it so, like all these characters died and they come back to life again to show how desensitized sometimes, like this is kind of like a video game, you know, like, they'll just pop up, they'll be fine. And I think that's part of their thesis. It's a good, like, philosophical thesis, but, like, does it make me feel a connection, like, whenever, like, Teddy gets shot or whenever, like, a character, I'm like, you're gonna be fine.
They're gonna hose you off and you'll be back.
Clothes.
I mean, it's sad that you're stuck in this non-existence and always questioning, but like, but I mean, if I get shot, I'm not gonna be fine. Like, you'll be
right.
I think Maeve made that point, actually.
You know what? We can talk about this maybe next week, but Maeve to me is a problematic character.
Really?
Absolutely.
I thought it was problematic that she decided to die again by setting like herself on fire while she's having sex.
Correct.
And I'm wondering, you know, it's like. That'll come to mess up your circuitry. I'm thinking kind of permanently.
This is my problem with Maeve. Is that there are many things about her storyline that if you just think about it for a second, don't make sense.
Yes.
And then that, it sort of takes me out of the story. The fire thing, I didn't get at all. I was like, wait, you're going to burn.
And I think they were just kind of like pushing through the whole demon hell allegory thing. It's like, okay, fine, but you're still going to melt, right?
And then if they know, so this episode, they're like, oh, Maeve, we know that you're purposely killing yourself so you can come back. Like, what's happening? And then to have Ford send Bernard in, like, why hasn't Ford talked to Maeve yet? That to me also doesn't make sense.
Ford, who knows everything about the park, maybe this is all
part
according to his plan, and like Maeve's supposed to be doing this.
Right.
We don't know.
You're right, because Ford's a crazy person.
He's a sociopath.
Absolutely. All right, so that's where we are on Westworld. The season finale is coming up this Sunday, and then we have to wait an entire year.
For more than
maybe more, yes, for it to return in 2018. So they have to do something to satisfy us for that long.
I would hope so.
I would hope so. Let's talk about a show really quickly that we haven't caught up on yet this season since the premiere.
Oh, I caught up last night.
The Walking Dead.
Yes.
Okay, so far, do you watch The Walking Dead, Carla?
No.
Okay, so Carla is like, I don't care.
She's out.
She's out. So The Walking Dead, I think we've seen 6 or 7 episodes.
6, I think.
Maybe 6. It seems like every episode this season has been focused on specific characters or communities because now the Westworld, because now the Walking Dead world has been expanded. We have Hilltop, Alexandria, wherever the Saviors are. What's the other one? The Kingdom?
The Kingdom.
And now we have this other community of all ladies.
Beachside community.
The Ladyland.
Lady home.
Let's just call it Ladylands. So this episode was dedicated to Tara and Heath. Mm-hmm. Heath, a person I didn't know existed before.
Oh, really?
I was like, who is this?
I know, I like him. I think anyway, he hasn't done very much, but I did sort of enjoy him from what I saw him last season. I was very upset when it looked like he was dead. And I was like, you're really going to kill another black character? Really? Really?
I was more upset when it looked like he left Tara to die.
Well, he couldn't, he couldn't do anything about it. They were in a really bad situation.
But he didn't leave her to die.
He did leave her to die.
I think leave her to die.
No, he did. Didn't she go over the side? Did we see at the end? She went over the side. Okay.
But he did not leave her.
No.
Right, yeah. So anyway, the episode focused on Tara and this community of ladies, and we the middle part doesn't really matter much. What we come to find out is that their community was terrorized by the Saviors. Mm-hmm. The Saviors killed all of their men, which is why they're left alone. And so now they're hiding out. They
moved elsewhere. They found this place on a beach, which I was so excited about.
Why?
Because, my whole zombie theory, I'm always yelling at television, go find an island, find it. So when I saw her wash up, I was like, oh my God, they're on an island.
But didn't you tell me that in Fear the Walking Dead, you find out that the zombies can swim or something?
They're still alive in the water.
Right.
And they can wash up on beaches, but I still think that if you're just on an island and you have like a gate around it or somehow, I think it's a lot safer than like sitting there in the middle of America waiting for things to come at you.
Right.
Anyway.
So what we find out, so the Saviors killed all their men. They don't want anyone to find them, so they basically shoot any stranger on sight. But there was a young woman who didn't kill Tara when she washed up on shore. And, they make Tara think that they're going to work with her as long as she doesn't tell anyone where they are. And then they take her out into the woods and try to kill her. Mm-hmm. But she escapes with the help of this young woman again. She makes it back to Alexandria, which... Pet peeve, we've discussed this. How long does it take her to walk from wherever the heck she was back to Alexandria? It's like a day.
I know, especially because, Alexandria is, I believe, supposed to be Alexandria, Virginia.
Correct.
And she's, on the literal beach. So she's, somewhere in Virginia. I don't even know where.
Let's just say she's in Virginia Beach. But,
we're poking holes in The Walking Dead, which could do this all day and night long.
Yes, this is true. Okay. Also, the beach in Virginia doesn't have any buildings. Don't believe that.
No, it had a little, it was anyway.
Okay. Anyway, but it looked like an unspoiled, undeveloped area of America, and there's no such thing on the East Coast.
What I took, can I just tell you what I took away from this particular episode, which I actually enjoyed. I enjoyed more than other episodes too. I decided that what I really want out of a zombie show is basically a Nat Geo documentary. I want to see how people are living sociologically in the zombie apocalypse. I'm not really that interested in I'm interested in these, a new community. I was fascinated by it. How does it work? Why are they only women? How do they get there? They have a lot of fish. I was fascinated by it. They have a lot of guns. And they have a lot of guns, and I also like that that Tara has a sense of humor, and so there's more humor in this episode than we've seen in previous ones.
I really liked this episode. I thought it was great. And then when she went back to Alexandria, she obviously found out that her girlfriend, Denise,
the doctor.
Was murdered, killed. But at this point, that was so long ago.
I know. I was like, who's her girlfriend?
That was last
again?
Season, right?
I think the first half of last season.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
So there's that. And then we see her being asked by
Rosita,
where she was, or did she find any people or weapons? And Tara stuck to her promise not to tell and said no, but that's for right now.
That's for
because
right
we know in the future
they're going to come back.
That if Negan continues on this path, they're going to need to fight back, and that's where the guns are. The final thing I'll say on The Walking Dead is any episode without Negan is a good episode to me.
I agree completely.
It's not a good look. He's just so unlikable.
And also, don't you think that Motorcycle Jack gets kind of heavy? Isn't he sweaty under there?
I mean, hot.
Virginia.
It is Virginia.
Yeah, it's not winter.
When is it going to snow? It does snow in Virginia.
It does snow.
Has climate change happened already?
Maybe. That's true. Maybe it has. That is the explanation. And then just quickly, before we wrap up here, last night, or Tuesday night, a new show premiered on A&E. about Scientology, Scientology, the Aftermath, with Leah Remini, an 8-part documentary series where she basically speaks to former Scientologists about the church and how they got out and what's been happening to them since then. I love Scientology, as in I love to observe. As in, not a Scientologist, but I like to read about it and hear about their craziness. But I did not.
And you love Leah Remini.
I do love Leah Remini, but I did not like this.
Really? It's funny because Erin made me watch it, and I came to this knowing a decent amount about Scientology, having read a lot of stories. I read the big book that came out. I saw the Alex Gibney documentary, and I thought it was really well done and interesting. And I liked Leah Remini's like Brooklyn shtick, the whole like, I'm gonna break his legs.
That accent is not going anywhere.
I mean, enjoyed. I thought it was very well done. And my question is always like, so what is this going to do?
Nothing.
I mean, everybody who's kind of not in Scientology kind of knows like what the deal is with Scientology is, and they can't really do anything.
Correct.
I think what's the point?
I don't know what the point is, but before every like segment of the show, there was this
legal disclaimer.
This legal disclaimer that took up the entire screen,
every single segment.
They come out of a commercial, go into the legal statement. And I'm like, that to me says a lot about Scientology, but also it says to me a lot about A&E, because you could tell that the story behind this was they reached out to the Church of Scientology for a statement, and the church was like, we will sue the crap out of you unless you put these statements up. And A&E was like, okay, we'll do it, even though it's all propaganda and craziness. I don't know if I'll keep watching. Will you?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
We're out.
Sorry. But I did watch it, and I did think it was well done. And I like seeing, like, it was like a very well thought out documentary. It wasn't like, flashy or crazy or anything like that. It wasn't a reality show.
But it was an hour long.
It was an hour long. I actually didn't have a problem with it.
But do you need 8 hours of that?
I thought the story was very interesting, but I can't help hearing. I've heard these stories so many times.
Agreed. I don't know how. Maybe I'll watch one more to see if they do something different. But I as a fan of Scientology.
The Scientology phenomenon.
The Scientology phenomenon, that's a better way to say it. I will check out one more episode. Well, that's going to do it today. Carla, thank you so much for joining us. Give us your Twitter handle one more time.
It's Carla Astudillo, and there's a little, what is it, underscore?
Underscore.
Yeah, underscore in between Carla and Astudillo. Follow me. And actually, I think I don't think I have it pinned on my Twitter profile, the Gilmore Girls Pop-Tarts thing.
They're virtual Pop-Tarts people.
Yeah, they're virtual. They're not. I can't cook or make pop. Like, I can't even.
But if you tweet it, we'll retweet you from the remote possibilities.
Yeah. And I because all the episodes are finished, and it's based on the ratings from this other podcast called Gilmore Guys, and they review every Gilmore Girls episode. So it's very data, graphic, nerdy things. So.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime. Anytime you want to talk Gilmore Girls, I'm not doing it.
She's not going to let us talk about Gilmore Girls
ever again. Follow us at Remote Podcast, at E_meds, and at Vicki Hy, VICKIHY. We will be back, and we will have a big announcement. So make sure you tune in for that. And I just want to give a quick shout out to my friend Melissa. She listens every week. Hey, Melissa.